This evening, federal authorities have made a significant arrest related to a large-scale human trafficking case involving vulnerable individuals.
4:47 a.m., November 22nd, Hennepin Avenue, Minneapolis. The street was empty. No cars, no people, just cold air and darkness. But federal agents had already arrived. 37 unmarked vehicles surrounded the block. FBI, ICE, HSI, DEA, U.S. Marshals. 127 agents total. Tactical vests, night vision, battering rams ready. The target was a 3-story stone building with gold lettering on the door. Somali Relief and Resettlement Bureau, Honorary Diplomatic Mission. Inside was Dr. Yasmin Abdi Osman, Human Rights Advocate, United Nations Consultant, Refugee Coordinator for 11 years, a Minneapolis hero. But this morning, she was the target because 450 children were hidden inside her building, and a network spanning 4 continents was about to collapse. If you want the full truth, hit like so this story reaches more people who need to know. At 4:48, FBI Special Agent Rachel Torres gave the signal. Move now, all entry points, simultaneous breach, agents advanced, silent, fast, no lights. The front door was reinforced steel. The battering ram hit once, twice, the frame cracked, boom. Agents flooded inside, flashlights cutting through blackness, weapons raised. FBI, nobody move, hands where we can see them. 3rd floor, Dr. Osman's private office. She was at her desk, laptop open, satellite phone in her hand, speaking rapidly in Somali. She looked up, saw the agents, tried to shut the laptop. They were faster, hands up, step away from the desk. They cuffed her, face pressed against the wall. Her breathing was heavy, her eyes locked on the laptop screen. On the screen, a message was still visible. Shipment 63 departed Tijuana, 41 children ages 7 to 15. Los Zetas confirmed payment $1.9 million. Shanghai buyers ready. Arrival 16 days. Factory placement secured. Children sold like products. Agent Torres opened the laptop fully. Found a spreadsheet titled Active Operations Winter 2025. Somalia to Mexico pipeline. 154 children, 112 adults. Mexico to China pipeline. 118 children, 89 adults. Status: transit confirmed. Total revenue: $53.8 million. Torres looked at Dr. Osman. Where are the children? Dr. Osman said nothing. Her jaw tightened. A voice came over the radio. Torres, basement level. You need to get down here now. What they found next would expose the most sophisticated child trafficking operation ever discovered on American soil. Torres descended 2 flights of narrow stairs, concrete walls, dim lighting, a steel door at the bottom, locked from the outside with 3 heavy bolts. Agents cut through the locks. The door swung open. A long corridor, 28 doors, 14 on each side, every door locked from outside. Torres opened the first door. 17 children, ages 5 to 14, sitting on thin mattresses, terrified, silent. Second door, 22 children, some younger, some older, all from Somalia, Ethiopia, or Eritrea. Third door, 19 children, bruises on their faces, cuts on their hands, rope marks on their ankles, door after door, room after room. 450 children total. They had been told they would resettle in America for school. Instead, they were locked in a basement, waiting to be shipped to Chinese labor factories through Mexican cartel smuggling routes. On the basement wall, a massive map. Red lines traced from Mogadishu to Cairo to Tijuana to Shanghai. And taped to the map, a photograph. Mayor Antonio Ruiz, Ensenada, Mexico. A red X drawn across his chest. The date, 10/18/2025. The word, terminated. Comment exposed below. If you believe the truth must be told. Mayor Ruiz had been assassinated 4 weeks earlier. Shot in his car outside City Hall. Execution style. 3 bullets to the head. This basement held the proof. The traffickers had ordered it. Dr. Yasmin Abdi Osman, you are under arrest for human trafficking, conspiracy to commit murder, racketeering, and operating a transnational criminal enterprise. This wasn't just trafficking. This was a cartel-backed pipeline using fake diplomatic immunity to move children across 4 continents and murdering anyone who threatened to expose it. The investigation had started 6 months earlier, May 2025. A Minneapolis child welfare officer named Marcus Webb received a call from Hong Kong. A 10-year-old Somali girl named Amina. She had escaped from a textile factory in southern China, called from a Catholic relief shelter. Her story was nightmarish. I was in Somalia with my grandmother. A woman came to our village. She said I could go to America for education. My grandmother paid her $7,000, everything we had. The woman took me to Ethiopia, then Egypt, then Mexico. In Mexico, men with tattoos put me in a truck with other children. We drove for many days, then a ship, then China. I worked in a factory making clothes, 16 hours every day, no money. They beat us with sticks if we were slow. Marcus asked who arranged this. Amina said a doctor in Minneapolis. Her office had a Somalia flag and gold letters. She called it a diplomatic mission. Her name was Dr. Yasmin. Marcus contacted the FBI. They were skeptical. A child's testimony from Hong Kong seemed unlikely, but Agent Torres pulled records. No official Somali diplomatic mission existed in Minneapolis. But there was one organization, Somali Relief and Resettlement Bureau, claiming quasi-diplomatic status, run by Dr. Yasmin Abdi Osman. Torres opened a federal investigation. FBI pulled Dr. Osman's nonprofit records, filed as a 501c3 charity. Somali Relief and Resettlement Bureau claimed to provide refugee assistance, visa processing, cultural programs, family reunification services. Between 2014 and 2025, they had processed 3,284 individuals for resettlement, all from Somalia, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Sudan, ages 5 to 47. But when FBI tried to verify these individuals, 2,671 people could not be located in any U.S. databases. No immigration records, no social security numbers, no addresses, no school enrollments. They vanished. Type yes if you're ready to see what happened next. FBI coordinated with ICE for immigration tracking, State Department for visa verification, Interpol for international movements, Chinese Ministry of Public Security for labor trafficking investigations. What emerged was catastrophic. 1,043 victims identified in Chinese factories and workshops. Guangdong Province, 417 victims. Electronics Assembly, ages 8 to 36. Zhejiang Province, 329 victims. Textile Manufacturing, ages 7 to 31. Fujian Province, 297 victims. Seafood Processing Plants, ages 9 to 39. The route was clear and deliberate. Recruitment in Somalia, Ethiopia, and Eritrea. Dr. Osman's network promised American resettlement, education, safety, opportunity. Transit through Ethiopia and Egypt. Victims flown to staging locations. Mexico entry. Los Zetas Cartel controlled border crossings and safe houses. And Pacific smuggling. Cargo ships from Baja California, ports to China. Labor camps. Victims sold to Chinese factory operators. Price structure per victim. Children ages 7 to 16, $54,000 to Chinese buyers. Adults ages 17 to 45, $38,000 to Chinese buyers. Los Zetas cartel fee, $17,000 per person for transport and security. Dr. Osman's cut, $9,500 per person for recruitment and documentation. 143 victims times $20,000 average equals $118.7 million. Over 11 years, $784 million total network revenue. By June 2025, FBI authorized full surveillance of Dr. Osman and the Bureau. They couldn't approach openly. Dr. Osman claimed diplomatic immunity, falsely, but it created jurisdictional complications. FBI embedded undercover agents, 3 as refugee applicants, 2 as volunteers, surveillance teams in adjacent buildings, digital monitoring of all communications. Over 5 months, they documented the entire system. Recruitment. Dr. Osman's operatives in Somalia and Ethiopia targeted vulnerable families in rural areas. False promises. Your child will receive American education, citizenship, and opportunities. Payment collection. Families paid $5,000 to $9,000, often their entire life savings for processing and travel fees. Transit to Minneapolis. Victims flown to U.S. on visitor, student, or humanitarian visas. Basement detention. Victims held in bureau basement, 3 to 6 weeks. Mexico handoff. Los Zetas operatives retrieved victims. Transported to cartel safe houses in Mexico. Pacific smuggling operations. Cargo ships moved victims across the ocean to China. Sale to factory owners. Chinese operators purchased victims as forced laborers, all coordinated from Minneapolis. Share this so more communities understand what's happening. In September 2025, FBI intercepted encrypted communications between Dr. Osman and a Los Zetas commander. The Minnesota route is flawless. Dr. Osman delivers premium inventory. Children with 0 U.S. connections. No one's searching for them. Chinese buyers prefer Minnesota pipeline over all others. Another message revealed the Mayor Ruiz connection. Dr. Osman to Los Zetas. October 12, 2025. Critical issue. Mayor Ruiz in Ensenada is investigating Minnesota links. FBI contacted him last week. He is preparing testimony for Mexican federal prosecutors. He must be eliminated before October 25th. No exceptions. Los Zetas response. Confirmed. Target will be neutralized. 6 days later, October 18, 2025, Mayor Antonio Ruiz was assassinated outside Ensenada City Hall. He had been investigating Los Zetas trafficking routes through his jurisdiction. He discovered the Minnesota connection. He contacted FBI with evidence. He was murdered to protect Dr. Osman's network. By November 15th, FBI had overwhelming evidence. They executed arrests on November 22nd, 2025, 4:47 a.m. While Agent Torres arrested Dr. Yasmin Abdi Osman in Minneapolis, a multinational operation launched across 3 continents. Target Alpha, Somali Relief and Resettlement Bureau, Minneapolis. FBI and ICE secured the entire building, found 450 children in basement detention rooms. Emergency medical teams arrived within minutes. Children were severely malnourished. Limited food for 3 weeks. Many had injuries from physical abuse for attempting escape. Psychological trauma was severe, told their families would be killed if they spoke to anyone. Ages 5 to 18. The youngest was just 5 years old. 450 children waiting to be shipped to Chinese forced labor camps. Target Bravo, Dr. Osman's recruitment network, Somalia and Ethiopia. FBI coordinated with Somali Federal Police and Ethiopian security forces. Raided 19 recruitment offices across Mogadishu, Hargeisa, and Addis Ababa. Found 107 children being processed for American resettlement. Fake visa paperwork. Payment receipts showing families paid $5,000 to $9,000 each. Detailed lists of 2,671 victims already trafficked from 2014 to 2025. 63 arrests, recruiters, document counterfeiters, transit coordinators. Target Charlie, Los Zetas Operations, Mexico. FBI coordinated with Mexican Federal Police, military, and DEA. Hit Los Zetas compounds in Tijuana and Ensenada. Found 48 victims in transit detention, awaiting Pacific crossing. Ensenada. Raided Cartel headquarters. Found documents directly linking them to Mayor Ruiz's assassination. Baja California shipping port. Intercepted cargo vessel MS Pacific Dawn. 81 victims hidden in modified shipping containers. If this shocks you, comment your reaction below. As FBI processed arrests, the full scope became undeniable. At Dr. Osman's Minneapolis office, digital database containing records of 3,284 victims from 2014 to 2025. Financial spreadsheets showing $784 million processed through the network. Encrypted communication logs with Los Zetas commanders. Photographs of Mayor Ruiz marked terminated. Shipping manifests routing human cargo from Somalia through Mexico to China. In Dr. Osman's personal vault, $3.1 million cash. 58 counterfeit Somali diplomatic passports she had been selling to other criminal networks. Offshore banking statements. $61 million Dr. Osman's personal proceeds. Handwritten note dated October 19, 2025. Ruiz situation resolved. Pipeline operational. At Los Zetas compound in Ensenada, Mexican Federal Police found surveillance files on Mayor Ruiz. Photos of his home, his vehicle, his daily schedule. Assassination contract. Target Antonio Ruiz. Fee $650,000. Status executed 10/18/2025. Communication records with Dr. Osman coordinating victim shipments and witness elimination. Mayor Ruiz had been murdered because he threatened to expose Dr. Osman's Minnesota operation. In China, FBI worked with Chinese Ministry of Public Security. 419 victims rescued from factories across 3 provinces. Guangdong Electronics Manufacturing Complex, 154 victims, ages 8 to 36. Zhejiang Textile Factory Network, 143 victims, ages 7 to 31. Fujian Seafood Processing Plants, 122 victims, ages 9 to 39. Factory owners arrested. All claimed they legally purchased labor through Mexican intermediaries. Mexico, 129 victims in cartel custody rescued, 48 in Tijuana detention, 81 in cargo ship containers, all scheduled for Pacific crossing to China, Somalia, and Ethiopia. 107 children rescued from recruitment centers before trafficking began. Total rescued, 1,005 victims, 450 Minneapolis, 419 China, 129 Mexico, 107 Somalia and Ethiopia, still missing. 1,466 victims trafficked before 2025. Location unknown. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. By 2 RPM, the arrests were complete. Dr. Yasmin Abdi Osman in Minneapolis, 63 recruiters in Somalia and Ethiopia, 31 Los Zetas operatives in Mexico, 18 factory owners in China, 11 shipping company employees for maritime smuggling, total 141 arrests, victims rescued 105, assets seized $117 million. Dr. Osman's holdings plus Los Zetas accounts. FBI brought Dr. Osman to a secure interrogation facility. Agent Torres sat across from her. You trafficked 1,043 children and adults. You coordinated with Los Zetas to murder Mayor Ruiz. Explain yourself. Dr. Osman was calm. I operated a refugee assistance program. I helped displaced persons. I hold diplomatic credentials. You have no authority over me. You're not a diplomat. Somalia's government has no record of any appointment. I have official documents proving my status. Counterfeit documents you created. You claimed immunity to avoid prosecution while trafficking children for profit. Torres slid photographs across the table. The 450 children in the basement, factory workers in chains in China, These children were locked in your basement. Some were 5 years old. They were in temporary housing awaiting resettlement processing. They were imprisoned, and you sold them to Los Zetas for $26,500 each. Dr. Osman's expression hardened. Families paid me to help their children reach America. I provided that service. If criminal organizations intercepted them later, that is not my concern. We have your encrypted messages coordinating shipments with Los Zetas commanders. We have your financial records showing $61 million in personal profit. You ordered Mayor Ruiz's assassination. I know nothing about any mayor. Torres threw a photograph on the table, Ruiz with a red X across his chest. This was on your basement wall with the date he was murdered. You sent a message saying Ruiz's situation resolved. Dr. Osman stared at the photograph, silent. Antonio Ruiz was a husband, a father, a public servant. He was investigating child trafficking, and you had him executed to protect your $784 million operation. Dr. Osman looked at the table. She said nothing. If you believe justice matters, comment justice below. Dr. Osman's operation revealed catastrophic system failures, fake diplomatic status. Dr. Osman claimed honorary consul position for 11 years. Nobody verified it. She had professional letterhead, a building with diplomatic signage, counterfeit credentials. U.S. State Department never confirmed her status, but local and federal authorities assumed it was legitimate. 501c3 nonprofit protection. Dr. Osman's bureau was a registered tax-exempt nonprofit, received federal and state grants. $3.7 million over 11 years. Minimal oversight. Refugee charities rarely face audits. She used taxpayer funds to finance trafficking infrastructure. Victim invisibility. Victims came from Somalia, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Sudan. Countries with limited civil registration systems. No birth certificates. No verifiable family documentation. No one in U.S. searching for them. 2,671 people disappeared without a trace. Nobody reported them missing. Transnational coordination gaps. The pipeline crossed Somalia for recruitment, Ethiopia and Egypt for transit, Mexico under Los Zetas control, Pacific Ocean for maritime smuggling, China as final destination. No single country had visibility into the complete operation. FBI was the first to connect all pieces across 4 continents. While Dr. Osman became wealthy, children suffered unimaginable horrors. 10-year-old Amina who escaped from China. They told my grandmother I would attend American school. She paid $7,000, everything we had saved. They took me to Ethiopia, then Egypt, then Mexico. Men with guns and tattoos put me on a truck. I was terrified. We drove for many days. Then they put us on a ship. The ship took weeks. I was sick the entire time. In China, they put me in a factory. I made clothes 16 hours every day. No money, no rest. They beat us with wooden sticks if we slowed down. I only escaped because there was a fire and I ran. Mayor Ruiz's widow via video testimony from Mexico. My husband was an honest man. He discovered children were being trafficked through Ensenada to China. He told me this connects to Minneapolis. I have evidence. I must stop this. 3 days later, they killed him in front of City Hall. 3 bullets. And Dr. Yasmin Osman ordered it. She took my husband. She took my children's father for money. Marcus Webb, child welfare officer who initiated the investigation. Amina called me from Hong Kong. A 10-year-old girl thousands of miles from home, forced to work in a factory in China. I didn't know if I should believe her story, but I reported it to FBI anyway. If I had dismissed her as a confused child, 450 children would still be locked in that basement today. Share this video before it gets buried. The federal indictments were unprecedented. Dr. Bourrey, Yasmin Abdi Osman faced 1,043 counts of human trafficking, conspiracy to commit murder of Mayor Ruiz, 154 counts of money laundering, 107 counts of wire fraud, 58 counts of falsifying diplomatic credentials, operating a continuing criminal enterprise. She faces life in federal prison without possibility of parole plus 4,200 years. Co-defendants, 140 individuals, 63 recruiters in Somalia and Ethiopia, 18 to 35 years each. 31 Los Zetas operatives in Mexico, 30 to 60 years each. Murder and trafficking conspiracy charges. 18 factory owners in China. Chinese prosecution. Death penalty possible under Chinese law. 28 facilitators, transporters, and document forgers. 12 to 28 years each. Total charges, over 14,000 counts across all defendants. Largest transnational child trafficking prosecution in world history. Los Zetas operatives charged with Mayor Ruiz's assassination. 5 shooters arrested in Mexico. 3 coordinators arrested in Minneapolis. Direct contacts of Dr. Osman. Communications evidence directly linking Dr. Osman to the murder contract. Mexican federal charges, first-degree murder, organized crime participation, conspiracy to obstruct justice, U.S. federal charges, murder of a material witness. Mayor Ruiz had agreed to testify in U.S. court. Conspiracy to interfere with federal investigation. All defendants facing life sentences or execution. Mexico maintains extradition agreements even in capital cases with substantial evidence. Mayor Ruiz's family received $7 million compensation from seized criminal assets. U.S. government granted special protection visas, relocated to United States to escape cartel retaliation. New Mexican Federal Anti-Trafficking Task Force named the Antonio Ruiz Memorial Unit. 105 rescued victims received comprehensive support. 450 Minneapolis children placed in specialized foster care or safely reunited with families when possible. Full medical treatment, trauma counseling, educational funding, legal pathway to U.S. residency as trafficking survivors. 419 China factory workers repatriated to Somalia or Ethiopia when safe, or granted U.S. asylum when repatriation posed danger. Compensation of $125,000 each from seized assets. Vocational training programs, housing assistance, 129 Mexico rescues, and 107 Somalia and Ethiopia rescues returned to families or placed in protective custody with international monitoring. Compensation packages, long-term support services, total victim compensation fund $117 million from seized criminal assets. Dr. Osman's holdings, Los Zetas accounts, factory owner assets. Hit like if you believe justice is worth fighting for. Congress passed the Mayor Antonio Ruiz International Trafficking Prevention Act. Mandatory State Department verification of all claimed diplomatic status. 501c3 nonprofits claiming refugee or resettlement services subject to annual federal audits. International biometric database tracking minors crossing multiple international borders. Enhanced witness protection for government officials investigating trafficking networks. Strict corporate liability for employers utilizing trafficking victims. Mandatory life sentences without parole for trafficking-related murders. Signed into federal law, March 2026. Here is what every person needs to know. If someone claims to arrange resettlement, visa assistance, or international placement, watch for red flags, requesting large upfront payments exceeding $5,000. No verifiable government authorization or licensing. Promises that sound unrealistically positive. Requests to send children unaccompanied by parents or legal guardians. This is trafficking. Report immediately. National Human Trafficking Hotline. 1-888-373-7888. Available 24 hours. All languages. FBI online tips. Tips.fbi.gov. Anonymous reporting available. DHS Blue Campaign. Tip line. You mean 866-347-2423. Confidential. If you work in refugee services, social services, or community organizations, watch for warning signs. Organizations claiming diplomatic or consular status. Always verify with State Department. Large numbers of children processed with no follow-up contact or verification. Resistance to oversight, audits, or transparency requests. Families unable to contact children after placement. Report suspicious activity immediately. State Department Diplomatic Security Service. 1-571-345-3146. HHS Office of Refugee Resettlement. 11202-401-9246. ICE Homeland Security Investigations. 1-866-347-2423. Marcus Webb saved 105 lives by believing a 10-year-old girl calling from Hong Kong. If you're still watching, comment your answer. Should Dr. Osman face execution for ordering Mayor Ruiz's murder? Because here is the question that demands an answer. Dr. Osman trafficked 1,043 people, including children as young as 5 years old, but she also ordered the assassination of a mayor who was trying to stop her. Mayor Ruiz had a wife, 3 children. He was trying to save children from trafficking. Should ordering the murder of a public official add execution to her life sentence? Share this story now. Hit like on this video. Subscribe to this channel because this is not an isolated incident. You have seen trucking executives smuggling for cartels, bank directors building smuggling tunnels, hospital administrators harvesting organs. Now you have seen a fake diplomat trafficking children to Chinese factories and murdering a mayor who tried to expose her. Next video. How many other cultural offices and honorary diplomatic missions in the United States are trafficking fronts? And why the State Department refuses to verify them? Protection or exposure? Which side do you stand on? Because right now there are other Dr. Osmans operating, other fake diplomats, other children being trafficked across borders. We do not look away. We do not trust titles or credentials without verification. We demand accountability at every level. Subscribe now. Share this investigation. Stay vigilant in your community. The war to protect our children is far from over.